The way I'm treated by law enforcement. This is how most homeless people get treated by law enforcement. This is how disabled people who go in alone are treated by law enforcement. Now, because I don't have the technical skills or the finances to defend myself, it makes it okay to harm me. Now, the reason that I have repeatedly shown evidence here on YouTube and on my Facebook is because of that. Because of how impossible it is to get cops to do their jobs unless you're rich or a fucking pretty little girl. Holy hell. And God bless America, right? Those of you who have been watching the videos tonight, you can see how difficult it is to get police to do their fucking jobs. What, you thought it was going to take 20 fucking minutes and it'd be all done and over with? Hell no. When I talked to Cody Sellhorst, that was 3.5 fucking hours. 3.5 fucking hours. I need help. I don't need to be ordered around. I need help. Everything that could be done to prevent me from being able to defend myself was done. All of these people that y'all told me to go to, I went to most of those places before Natalie was fucking killed. Jesus fucking Christ. This is really what it's like. People telling you they don't care, they don't care. Oh, Sean, I love you, but I don't care. Oh, yeah, Sean, I care about you, but not enough to tell the truth. I care enough about you that if you post up the truth when I didn't come forward like you asked, and like I said I would, and you know where that fucking story goes. People start saying that fucking rotten ass bullshit. Oh, Sean, you should have tried fucking harder. Really, Miss Peaches? You're not the only person I went to for fucking help that blew me off. There's also Joanna Taylor Smith. Shit, Derek Parrish fucking assaulted me over an argument he had with Joanna Taylor Smith. I went over there to get help and ended up getting assaulted. But then again, they lived in a house. I lived in a fucking garage, Ken and Leah's at the time. What happens if I call the cops? I get blown off. That is standard procedure for homeless people, especially when a cop does something fucking wrong. The police here in Chapel, Nebraska did the exact same thing that they did in Colorado. Fuck the police. It's not likely that I'll be getting any sleep tonight. It is very likely that tomorrow morning, when I gotta call up Miss Smith, it's Tara Smith, not Tara Miller. So, yeah, I got that wrong. You go back through my stories and you read up the parts where I'm talking about Tara Miller. I do apologize. Her last name isn't Miller. None of these people seem to understand that I have been trying to get a day in court for over 4 years. Now there's a lot of fucking dead people. With the Elijah McClain situation, I can sew that shit shut. With the Demetrius Shankling situation, I can sew that shit shut. Thing is, I need help. See, I need someone to help me with these things. If I'm at a fucking apartment and I'm spending money at that apartment knowing full well that Cindy Taylor is a shitty excuse for a human being, and the only reason that I am fucking paying for that fucking roof over my goddamn head is so that I can actually receive mail and get fucking help, hopefully. But I need help. I don't choose to be overwhelmed by the mass quantity of it. But you know what? If cops had done their fucking jobs in 2016 or 2017 or 2018 or 2019, 4 years of hell, because cops don't have to do their jobs. And people who do not have the ability to do the things that the cops are asking, does that make them guilty? Does it mean that the crime was never committed? I need to be defended from the fucking cops, for shit's sake. I'm tired of going to those son of a bitches. There is no such thing as a good cop. Maybe there used to be in some storybook somewhere. But in reality, they're all Nazis. In reality, whether or not you are human enough to do your fucking job, or for them to do their job, if you're not a pretty girl, they don't give a fuck unless you're rich. What do rich people spend their money on? Pretty wives. All this bullshit about the goddamn Kardashians. Oh, poor her, poor her. Man, that bitch didn't lose her house. She didn't lose her vehicle. She wasn't assaulted over and fucking over again. Every step of the way, law enforcement, not just law enforcement, but the courts and public pretenders, have gone out of their way to prevent evidence from being shown in court, to prevent me from being able to even speak on my own behalf. I need fucking help, real help. Going to Rihanna's, me and Rihanna were supposed to help each other, and I was supposed to be able to work on my stuff while I was there. It didn't happen that way, did it? Of course it didn't. Amy Spencer wanted to drop her kids on someone that she knew could not take care of her kids. As much as I would like to turn this evidence over to police, police are yet again showing me that they don't give a fuck. They will make any excuse not to do their fucking jobs. You want me to shut up, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. Every step of the way, law enforcement has done everything in their power to cut me off from the help that I need. They have done everything in their power to hide the wrongdoing of their fellow officers. Scott, I wanted to believe you, but I can't. You are still involved in helping your officers who did wrong get away with it. And your officers who are working for you today have shown the same. By making me a target and not allowing me to defend myself. The police have done a lot of wrong shit. The state of Colorado is well invested in keeping me shut out because I do have so much information on so many of these situations. When I was at Sally Treon's, there was a young girl who got kicked in the face by a goddamn meth head, and I had to be afraid to go to the police. Just like when Rachel Klang let me know that her sister Rebecca was sexually molesting her. I gotta be afraid to go to the police. Who the fuck do I go to? Who the fuck do I speak to about this? This shit is not fucking okay. The reason I take the evidence in fucking person is so that I can show it. That bitch last night showed that there is no fucking reason to go to the cops. If you need to go to the cops, you should go with a bullet for the cop. Some people are considered human, and some of us, you punish for existing. You punish for being broke. You punish for not being pretty. And then you pretend that I had all the same fucking opportunities that you did, bitch. No, I didn't. It's not my fault that the cops are making every excuse they can not to do their fucking job. It's fucking pathetic that I have to go to a sheriff who has been invested in covering up the wrongdoing of his officers for 3 goddamn years. See, the first officer that he went out of his way to protect, Jordan Anderson. When I went in and talked to Scott Costa, I said, "Hey, did you watch the whole video?" He said, "No." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Because your friend said you were bipolar." Yeah, that's how fucking fast it happens. If you were called bipolar or schizophrenic or really just mentally ill, people automatically assume that you're fucking schizophrenic. But that's not a medical term. That's a blanket statement. The specific reason that they use it is to justify their wrongdoing. Oh, well, I don't know if he's schizophrenic. Bitch, I'm going to tell you something. People who are schizophrenic are far less likely to assault you. Did you know that people with Asperger's are far less likely to assault you than somebody who is neurotypical? Far less likely. But you don't give a shit. Disabled people don't fucking matter. It doesn't matter that I have physical disabilities. You're still going to tell me I just need to get a job and that'll fix everything. Why the fuck would I work? Why? Why would I destroy what is left of my body for the very people who fucking victimized me? You're out of your goddamn mind. Met somebody on Facebook. Apparently they like to comment. If you don't want to be called a liar, you shouldn't have lied to me. If you want to pretend like you tried to help me, did you speak up? Did you? Did you speak up, Miss Peaches? Did you? No, you didn't. You said that you would. You just never did. Fuck this goddamn country and everybody in it. Listen right here. This is about police using ketamine to restrain people. So I'm going to read this to you. This is Narconon, Colorado. It says over 900 people have been reportedly drugged with ketamine by paramedics and emergency medical techs in the last 2.5 years in Colorado alone. Disturbingly enough, Elijah McClain was one of those people, and so was I. But by denying me my hospital records, denying me a place that is safe from this victimization, holy hell, fuck this goddamn country. Anyway, I typed "so was I" for trying to turn in Officer Waylon Lolatai in 2018 at a Vista hospital and again at Clearview Behavioral Health, where Tybra Hatay and one other were killed by lethal injection. Someone named Emily Sewell typed "Sean Schwartz, what?" I typed "this lady, after her and her addict friends made my life Hades for over a year, hired someone to shoot her in the head. I typed, because of this, I was made homeless. Because of my disabilities, I was abused and falsely accused and assaulted repeatedly, including by Waylon Lolatai. There's Officer Waylon Lolatai. And then I typed, Emily Sewell, I tried to turn in Lolatai and was sent to an institution where I was injected with Haldol, ketamine, Ativan. I was sent to this place for trying to turn in Lolatai. This is Clearview. They're closed down for doing exactly the things that I told you they were doing. I typed Emily Sewell, that's just between December of 2017 and January of 2018. That's not even all of it. That's not even close. That doesn't include the bullshit at fucking Candace's house. I typed, Emily Sewell typed, are you saying Ativan like benzodiazepam? I typed as in lorazepam. It's nasty stuff. Same with Haldol and ketamine. I was injected with all three. Repeatedly, by the way. Tammy L. Ratfield wrote, I reported that the AMT asked me if my husband had ever been given ketamine. I said no. Watched them give him a huge shot. His breathing was so labored after they gave the shot, I commented on it. Long story short, his heart arrested, took 2 hours to resuscitate, and then he was placed in DNR for about 8 hours. Had him on IV, they did autopsy, and he didn't even have his meds in his system. When I got the report, the claim to have given Versed, not what they said they were giving, and they left the needle in my house. been almost 2 years, been to 3 attorneys. None will take case unless I pay for needle tested by someone who counts. No one will hear the EMTs were leaving as I sat in the ER waiting, thinking he's fine, and overhear one say, well, what is the normal dose? Other said 12.5, saw me, took other by the arm, and walked faster. There's covering going on too. This is not cool by any means. Deborah Sgrow typed, Tamiel Ratfield, I pray for you. I hope you get recourse and make it mandatory for EMTs to be better trained. It's not the EMTs. They do it at the request of officers. Every single time they are doing it at the request of officers. Tammy Ratfield typed, Deborah Sgrow, thank you. Nothing will bring him back, but he loathed liars. It seems they can literally get away with murder. I already told you that. They've been murdering my friends for years. But you only care if it's somebody in a fucking house. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? I typed, Tammy, I have a YouTube channel where I let others tell their stories. As a victim in Colorado, I am in this fight until I am in the ground. Tammy L. Ratfield typed, Sean Schwartz, I'd be interested. And what happened after that? Ended up with internet issues. Why did I have internet issues? Because I didn't have help. I typed, I will let you tell your own story unedited because someone doing an interview might not know what questions to ask, but you know what you want to say. Saving lives is important to me. She typed to me to PM her channel. Someone named Roxanne Doffner typed Sean Schwartz, so I'm curious about your YouTube channel. Can you send me a link or can I just do a search of your name? Renee Lewis typed following. So they got my channel, which is a good thing. Keegan Garland typed Tammy L. Ratfield. EMTs need to be just as qualified as a surgeon, in my opinion. Helen Budlong typed Tammy L. Ratfield. Sorry, Facebook inserted a like all by itself. What a terrible tragedy. So sorry for your loss and the situation you find yourself in. Reger McCohan typed, what is the purpose of a drug addiction treatment center posting an article like this? It's Narconon, Colorado, you know. Christine Paonessa O'Brien typed, Reger McCohan saying that if a cop gives it to you without consent, it can lead to addiction or relapse. I'm not sure what the fuck they were trying to say there. Reger McCohan typed, let's clear a couple things up. Cops do not give ketamine. Cops occasionally give Narcan. On the streets, ketamine is used by paramedics for wildly combative patients that are often in an altered mental state. No, that's not the case. In none of my situations was I ever out of control. In none of those situations did drugs ever need to be in me. They were putting those drugs in me for the same reason that they had pushed me to that point. Anything that they can do that helps to justify their illegal activities and make them magically not illegal, they'll do. And the hospitals help. Now, there's a lot more to this. I mean, a whole lot more. Now, a lot of these people, we ended up getting into a pretty decent knockdown, drag out argument where people are trying to talk about a bunch of stuff that is completely off subject. And why is it completely off subject? Because they're excuses. Any excuse is a good excuse, right? Fuck it. Apparently, someone named Audrey Rollins likes my comment. I typed somebody named Kenzie. It says, and this is the same post, of course. Warren Ellis typed, this might not always be a bad thing, especially when a person is in severe pain. Julie Yates typed, Warren Ellis, are you serious with the is wrong with you? I typed, it isn't administered for pain. It is a chemical restraint used to lobotomize people who turn in bad police. I've been trying to get assisted termination of life for the victims so they can end the pain of constantly looking over their shoulder. Call someone mentally ill and you can do whatever you want to them. I have been injected with everything from ketamine to Haldol to Ativan since the death of Natalie Bollinger. 11 times because cops and medical staff were negligent in their duties, covering for child molesters, rapists, and bad cops. This is standard police procedure when you try to turn in a cop or sexual predator in Colorado. Colorado is a refugee state or refuge state for sex offenders. Don Ponsford typed Sean Schwartz. It is used for severe intractable pain patients under a doctor's care. I typed should be, but isn't. Reger McCohan typed Sean Schwartz. It is used for analgesia as well, my dude, but jumped to more conclusions. Jesus fucking Christ, what a bunch of goddamn idiots. I replied to him, though. I typed, I'm not your dude, and I'm telling you it was administered as a chemical restraint, not as pain relief or analgesic. See, this is a post about ketamine being forced into people's bodies and killing people. Elijah McClain was not injected with those drugs as a pain reliever. You can tell me cocaine is a pain reliever all the fuck you want. My mom didn't use it as a pain reliever, and neither the fuck did my dad. Anyway, I also typed, there is where the issue is. You automatically jump to the conclusion that I was trying to argue. I'm not. I'm one of the victims. In my case, just as with the 22 others, and including Elijah McClain, Demetrius Shankling, Zaid Atkinson, Tybra Hatay, their lives could have been saved by listening to me and stopping those officers before they killed people. Guess what? They killed people. Keenan Garland types, you sound stupid. Ketamine is a dissociative, essentially being effective at treating almost anything. Holy fuck, is this person serious about their ignorant goddamn stupidity? Holy fuck. Yes, it may not have been necessary to have in the ambulance as hospitals have it on hand, but yeah, it can treat pain very well. I gave him an angry face. Anthony Waddell typed, Keenan, nah, you sound stupid saying it's good at treating almost anything. You just pulled that out of your ass, huh? Of course I like that. I typed, Keenan, you seem to be under the opinion that everyone who has a badge must be the good guy and can do no wrong. Same with medical staff. When it is used to cover up the crimes of cops, your opinion doesn't matter. Kenzie Murphy type, Sean Schwartz, I'm a nurse, and I myself have used ketamine not to chemical restrain someone, but to help with their severe pain due to kidney transplant rejection. Yes, it's used as a chemical restraint in certain circumstances, but is also 100% used for pain also. Are we talking about an instance where it was used for pain, or are we talking about it being injected into people as a chemical restraint? In this situation, we are talking about people being injected as a chemical restraint. Zach Huck type, Warren Ellis, I was given it for pain after a severe work injury, and I'm thankful for it. Kathy Beery Romero type, Sean Schwartz, you were that out of control 11 times. Maybe you need more than a 72-hour hold. Shit. I was put on a 72-hour hold to appease Scott DaCosta and his crooked ass fucking. Well, I can tell you specifically which officers: Cody Selhorst and Jared Hahn. This is their standard procedure. Standard procedure when you try to turn in a bad cop. Whatever it takes to cover up the crimes. I typed Kenzie was Elijah McClain injected for pain or as a chemical restraint. If you turn in bad cops, you aren't drugged for pain. You are drugged so they can call you mentally ill and get away with their crimes. Telling me bullets are used for hunting food when the topic is Kennedy's assassination. Sure, bullets are for hunting food. That is a true statement. But the bullet that killed Kennedy wasn't. Was Kennedy shot for food? Was Kennedy shot so that people could harvest his meat and have something to eat so they don't starve to death? I typed Zach, and the topic of discussion was it used as a pain reliever? No. Kathy, you assuming I was out of control makes you an idiot. I have spent over 4 years being abused over slander. Morons such as yourself are seriously too dumb and biased to look at the truth. You are the type of person who would punch a guy in the mouth, then pretend you were beaten. Beer me. I also typed, when trying to make a point, you should make sure it's on topic. With 3 of you, I was nice. With the 4th, I name called and made a worthwhile analogy. Although y'all want to twist evidence and hearsay into whatever you want to interpret to, my meaning and intent don't fit your bias. My history doesn't fit your bias either. When someone kills another person with a crowbar, do you focus on crowbars pull nails? Or do you make the connection that its use in the scenario has nothing to do with pulling nails? Y'all nurses are mostly druggies, as a rule, rather than the exception. And by the way, Amy Spencer, aka Amy Kalina Kingery, she was talking about, obviously, I've got her recorded talking on this very YouTube channel about how she was fucked up on meth at the time. I got more recordings with her where she talks about, well, the nurses that she worked with and how heavily they use methamphetamine. But you don't want to hear that, do you? Let's see. Y'all nurses are mostly druggies, as a rule rather than the exception. You believe pills make everything better. They don't. Your own medical books explain these things. Yes, these medical books explain that these pills are not helpful in most cases. But they just keep on fucking popping them anyway. Most of the nurses I know are either meth addicts or pill poppers. Not many in between. Or in the case of Lori Dale, she's an alcoholic. Fuck it. Anyway, your own medical books explain these things, and you still popping pills and making bad assumptions rather than looking at evidence. Lois Richardson type, Sean Schwartz, the nurses in every hospital my husband or I have been or not druggies. You have no right to make a slanderous remark like that. No, I actually fucking do. You want to pretend that your coworkers aren't on fucking drugs. Just because you don't do fucking drugs with them doesn't mean they're not on fucking drugs. I type, Lois, I see you don't like it when it's your group that is targeted. It doesn't feel good, does it? Three of the addicts who took part in what I have endured the last 4 years are nurses I have known over 20 years. Who are those three nurses? If you go back through my stories, you'll know that one of them is Lori Dale. Another one is Amy Kalina Kingery. Her mom's that way too, by the way. Someone named Caitlin Kiefer typed, "Are you okay, dude? Can I ask why you go live so much? I understand completely what you're saying, but is this helping your mental health at all? What comments are you reading from?" I'm reading from Facebook. What would help with my mental health is being allowed to show fucking evidence, but I can't show evidence. I'm not allowed. No matter what, any fucking excuse they can make not to look at evidence, any fucking excuse, it doesn't matter. Oh, good boy, good boy. Oh. Anyway, where was I? They are pill poppers and meth addicts. When I tried to turn in cops, they took me to the hospital and put me in seclusion. Your profession does whatever the cops ask, including those mind altering drugs. Who the fuck in their right mind injects someone who is passed out with mind altering drugs like Haldol, ketamine, and Benadryl as a catalyst? Or change it up, use Ativan. Cops ask for a B-52 and you guys inject us with that crap. Try injecting yourself with that crap before shoving it into a victim trying to get help. When someone wants their life to end, it has to do with abuse, not a need for expensive pills. Do pills stop the BS? I don't use drugs, but I go into a hospital looking homeless, and I automatically get treated like a junkie by medical personnel who literally aren't hearing a thing I am telling you. That's why when someone tries to turn in bad cops, cops take them to the funny farm for drugs to discredit their victims, and your profession does the dirty work for them. Lois, please explain for those who are not me what a B-52 is. Um, Caitlin Kiefer type thoughts on weed. It helps me. Uh, well, Caitlin, I have smoked a lot of weed in the last 3 weeks, and I can tell you that it did help actually. Because I smoked that weed, people who are usually very tight lipped were more liberal about speaking. So weed did help me. However, I didn't want to smoke weed. I don't like being stoned. If there's a situation where I have to deal with the police, it's nice to be stoned, but I don't get to be. If I'm dealing with a whole bunch of people that are, well, chronic assholes and I'm stuck in that scenario, yeah, weed can help. I've been smoking weed. The first time I smoked weed was with my Uncle Matt when I was 6. The second time I smoked weed was when my dad and his wife Diane went to Hawaii to get married. My stepbrother DJ got me and my older brother Eric stoned as fucking shit. Eric got all fucking drunk and puked up strawberry daiquiri all over the bathroom. Guess who cleaned it up? That's right, it was me. Yes, I have babysat my older brother quite a bit. Hmm. Stephanie Addison type Sean Schwartz, these jackholes obviously didn't read. It may be used for all those other things and still doesn't belong in the hands of ignorant law enforcement who obviously painfully don't have medical training to safely administer this drug for chemical restraint, which is exactly what they did. People on here slamming you are morons. She's right. I typed, nobody stood up for my rights. Instead, they slandered me in the media, making me a target for a murder I didn't commit. I was assaulted by a cop with a long history of violence, but I was the one charged. Then, after having me injected with a B-52 at Clearview Behavioral Health, where I had been transferred to because it was out of jurisdiction to turn him in, just 2 days prior, I was at a Vista hospital in Boulder County, where I had received a ketamine, Haldol, and Benadryl shot. It messes your head up permanently, and people want to make excuses for the predators, I mean cops. I wouldn't want to offend anyone here by being honest. Anyone else here want to pretend Elijah McClain was given a lethal injection for pain? Pete Banson type, there are pain relief meds that are equally effective and short acting, which works well in field EMS. I find it extraordinary that EMS people in Colorado have this drug in their scope of practice and act as surrogates for law enforcement, medicating people so that they are easier to handle. Given the potential for bad outcomes, it seems like regional EMS authorities should re examine this practice. Meanwhile, I should be at the forefront of every one of these fucking battles. I should be able to go to Colorado and speak in all of these cases. I'm fine with weed. A whole bunch of the recordings that I made in the past 3 weeks involved people who smoke weed. Weed is illegal in the Nebraska. There are situations where it helps me. However, I don't have access to it and I don't have the money to buy it. Fuck it. Let's see. Caitlin Kiefer typed, however, the first time I smoked some strong shit, it was creepy as hell. I bet it was laced because I've never had a bad experience with it since that one time. And yes, I'm going to allow that to be shown, even though Facebook wanted to, well, give me the option of allowing it or not. Caitlin Kiefer, there are occasions where smoking pot is a bad thing, for me anyway. If I am by myself, smoking weed is not going to do anything to help me. It's only going to make it worse. It makes my anxiety worse by a lot. So I don't smoke by myself. If I'm in a really stressful situation and I don't have the ability to leave, then yeah, smoking pot does help a little bit, but not much. Now, between the drugs that they want to shove in me and marijuana is a lot safer. It's a lot less likely to give me long-term side effects such as a damaged liver, which most of the medications I was on growing up, their side effects resulted in me having to get a liver function test every 2 weeks. Imagine that, having to get a liver function test every 2 weeks because you make funny noises because you got Tourette syndrome. Pimazide, or Horat, is prescribed for two very specific and distinct, I guess you guys call them diseases, but they're not. They're both neurological disorders. One of them is Tourette syndrome, which I have. Now, that crazy lady whose house I spent my birthday at, she now takes the same thing, but she takes it for something different. She doesn't have Tourette syndrome. She's schizophrenic, actual schizophrenic. Well, according to the doctors. Personally, she doesn't come across as schizophrenic to me. There's a few things that she says that really are quite out there, but that's not the same as being schizophrenic. Pimozide. Pimozide. Let's see what it says about pimozide. What is pimozide used for? It says pimozide works by changing the actions of chemicals in the brain. Pimozide is used in people with Tourette syndrome. Pimozide suppresses the physical, motor, and vocal phonic symptoms of tics when these symptoms interfere with daily life function. Except that those things didn't interfere with daily life function. Not at all. Making funny noises doesn't hurt anyone. Let's see. Pimozide should only be used to treat severe tics that stop the person from learning, working, or performing daily activities. That's how dangerous this is. Unless the tics are so severe that they stop me from learning, working, or performing daily activities. I was still able to do all of those things. I was still learning faster than anybody in all my classes. I wasn't exactly working because I was in the system as a child. But when I moved to Nebraska at 15, yeah, I got a job and I was working. Pimozide, they told me that if I got off of Pimozide, it could kill me. I quit that shit cold turkey. And guess what? When I quit taking their medications, all of their diagnosis went away. Like magically, all of these things that they had diagnosed me with after years and years and years and years on these fucking drugs, when I was off the drugs, most of those went away. No longer existed. Of course, they didn't exist before I was put on the meds, which means that it was the meds that did it. I better get a full one. And it's called an antipsychotic. Antipsychotics can make you psychotic. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you put it into somebody, there is a possibility that it could make them psychotic. Now let's see what the side effects are. What are the side effects of pimozide? It says drowsiness, dizziness, lightheadedness, dry mouth, blurred vision, tiredness, or weakness may occur, and apparently that goes on and on. This drug may cause muscle/nervous system problems, extrapyramidal symptoms, or EPS. In rare cases, pimozide may increase your level of a certain chemical made by the body, prolactin. It says more items. Holy shit. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Holy shit, there is a lot there. I recommend you guys look into it. This is a WebMD thing that it took me to. Holy shit. It was discovered at Janssen Pharmaceutical in 1963. It has a high potency compared to, holy fuck, there is a lot here, isn't there? ORAP, or pimozide, uses, dosages, side effects, interactions. Um, that's the thing, is that these are very dangerous medications. And yes, they put these medications into children. I was one of them. Here it says, in response to legal requests submitted to Google, we have removed one result from this page. If you wish, you may read more about the request at lumendatabase.org. All right, I wasn't trying to ignore you. It's just I can't see all the comments on here while I'm looking stuff up. Caitlin Kiefer type totally agree. I smoke for my anxiety and because I'm disabled in a wheelchair. Better than depression meds. Exactly. Yeah. The problem is that I'm speaking up for myself. And no matter what, the term mentally ill is in the way of me getting the help that I need. I'm disabled, but I am denied the rights of a disabled person. Fuck this goddamn country, no joke. It's almost 3 a.m. I'd sure like to have a friend to talk to in person, have a decent conversation. Possibly, if heaven forbid, I get a friend who's got similar interests as me. All of the things that I needed for my mental health have been robbed from me. That is why I come here on YouTube to fucking speak out. I need help, and law enforcement is not up to the task. I needed someone to go in with me so that the police might actually do their fucking job before Natalie was killed. But those of you who have listened to the conversations with myself and nearly all of these people, most of them are drug dealers. Yes, Kayla Trujillo admitted to being a drug dealer, and yes, that admission is here on this YouTube channel. Perhaps she should have kept her word instead of helping my predators. Of course, she didn't have time to listen to what I had to say, not before Natalie died, and not after. She didn't actually try to hear anything that I had to say until well after Natalie was fucking dead. Well after. Now, these cops wanting to argue, wanting to cut me off and make excuses and be fucking douchebags. Perhaps they should shut the fuck up and listen. Is that too goddamn complicated? No, the fuck it's not. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Those of you who claim to be decent people, you're not doing anything about it. You're not speaking up in court. You're not forcing the cops to do their jobs. You're not forcing the media to tell the truth, and you don't fucking care. As long as it's not happening to you, it's fine. There's a lot of people right now who, well, they're flipping shit because they're losing their stuff. There's people flipping shit because they haven't seen their friends or family in 3 weeks because of lockdowns. And they're flipping shit. Caitlin Kiefer typed, I'm glad you got a lot of subscribers, but sucks I'm really the only one here. You should be able to speak up to more people. You know, Caitlin Kiefer, a lot of these channels like Rob Gavigan's and Sword and Scale, I've tried to get them to listen. They wanted to paint me as a fucking villain for entertainment, for good rate, good money. They didn't care about how it would affect me. I should be able to speak to more people, but the first thing that Rob Gavigan did once I started replying to people is to cut me off from his channel and claim that it wasn't him. Fuck you, Rob. The police to this day are not interested in the truth. That's not my fault. That's not my decision. This day, they're trying to hide the fact that they committed those crimes against me before they killed other people doing those exact same things. Police went out of their way to not do their job. Now, there are people who claimed that they did things that the cops are saying that nobody did. I'd like to know which one's telling the truth. Did Erin Cockerham actually make the effort to talk to the police like she claimed? Not likely. It's not likely. See, me and her started off communicating with each other because she sent me a big long something or other claiming that she was Layla Johnson or Layla Doonan, whatever the fuck she's going by now, claiming that she was Layla's sister. And later on, she's like, oh no, that was sent to me, blah, blah, blah. Caitlin Kiefer typed, yeah, I came to you from them. It sucks. They thought you were guilty. You know, it sucks even worse that they went out of their way to sell a narrative that they knew to be untrue, knowing that it would make an innocent man a target, and they just don't give a fuck. Look at Rob Gavigan's channel. That's probably the one you came from, since it's one of the most recent ones. See how many people are trying to tell me they want to support me, they want to help me, or they're sorry? Now imagine how it feels for me that I can't actually speak to any of them because Rob will not have that on his channel. Rob will not allow me to speak up or tell the truth or show evidence. He's not willing to look at it. But he'll allow anybody on there to fucking slander me. He'll allow anybody on there to bully me. That's all fine. He still, to this day, hasn't gotten back a hold of me. I don't have nice things to say about people who do that. I sent him plenty of evidence that shows that, yep, I was the one telling the truth. It doesn't matter, though, because I wasn't allowed to show it in court. And I won't be. Not until, well, you guys speak up for my rights. Caitlin Kiefer type, but he did show you were innocent at the end. You know what? That's after spreading a bunch more fucking slander and getting a lot of shit wrong and simply not caring. There's also the fact that I had a lot of people. I could tell the day that he posted up his video, I could tell that somebody had posted up a new video. Do you know how? Because I had people threatening to kill me. People threatening to kill me. People want to paint me out to be some fucking stalker. No, I was being stalked. I was being threatened. I was being assaulted. And I'm a bad person for calling the cunt that started the fucking rumors a cunt. Because you're fine with innocent people being harmed, but you're not fine with someone using the word cunt. And at the very end, it don't matter what he fucking said at the very end. After the way that he painted me, it don't matter if I'm innocent or guilty. It don't. The way that he fucking painted me is the reason the people were threatening to kill me. Rob Gavigan doesn't give a fuck. Let's see. Have you had the chance, Elijah Best types, have you had the chance to get PayPal or Cash App? No, I haven't. I've been trying. That's one of those things that I need help with. I mean, the first thing that you need is a bank account. I don't fucking have a goddamn bank account. I had to wait for my ID to get here to get one of those. Now I have to wait for money to get here so that I can actually open myself a bank account. I got at least the next 10 days where I have zero money. I literally spent the last 59 cents that I had to get a 59-cent Little Debbie at Hanson's Petroleum here in Chapel, Nebraska. I got no money for the rest of the month. See, lots of people have offered all sorts of stuff like, hey, Sean, how can I send you some money? How can I send you some money? Fuck. I don't know. I need help in person to do that shit. Caitlin Kiefer typed, those people are fucking idiots who never finished the video or gave you a chance. That's true. But even the ones that finished the video didn't give me a chance. Who would after that kind of slander? Rob Gavigan, well, he don't give a fuck. He hasn't gotten back to me. He hasn't bothered. Doesn't give a shit. He's ignored me. Gee, what a swell fucking feller. The fact is, no matter what your opinions are, if you're not standing up to law enforcement, if you're not here in person to help me, to protect me from law enforcement, they will always do the same thing, make excuses. You notice that law enforcement keeps telling me to call the wrong people. Oh, well, you need to call that department. Oh, well, you need to call the state patrol. Oh, well, Jesus, fuck. They're telling me to go back and call people and call people and call people. I don't need to make 10,000 calls. I need help in person to organize all of this evidence and send it where the fuck it needs to go. At no point in time was my safety ever the concern of anyone involved. I got a great idea. This guy needs help. He's being fucking abused. Let's ignore him until he has a fucking meltdown. Let's cut him off from all of his resources so that he can't defend himself. And then we'll throw him out there to the wolves. Caitlin Kiefer type, I get it, but I'm also into true crime, so I understand why the video was made that way. But the guy who made it should have answered you. He did answer me, told me that he would listen to me, told me that he would post up my side, that he was interested in what I had to say and show. To this day, the son of a bitch hasn't done a goddamn thing. He was telling me there's a lot to go through. Fuck. I didn't even send him the tip of the fucking iceberg. He sends me, after 2 months, he tells me, oh, well, I haven't had time to go through it. You had plenty of time to fucking slander my name, Rob. Fuck this goddamn country. When Natalie first disappeared, I needed help. To this day, I have not gotten the help that I need. Lots of promises. Is it my fault that people don't keep their word? Is it my fault that after months and months and months of taking abuse because they didn't keep their word, does that magically make it okay? This is why I am for assisted suicide. At no point in time did the truth ever matter. And none of these true crime sites care about their victims. And yes, we are their victims. None of this should have been all over the fucking internet. Most of y'all in true crime groups, you know what's really disgusting? Most of the people who offered to help me are true crime nut jobs. They're too busy telling you their opinion from their fucking conspiracy theory point of fucking view to listen to what the fuck you have to say. Being at Sally Treon's with that fucking murder show on 24 hours a fucking day, like all the time. That one show about killing over and over and over and over again. Then we got Shannon Alvarado with her goddamn Chucky dolls and Jason mask that she wants me to wear so she can take pictures. Oh, look, I got pictures of Sean in a Jason mask. She wasn't interested in helping me. She was interested in taking pictures of me with a Jason mask on. Meanwhile, I'm Jewish. That's not true, is it? Because in order to be Jewish, you would have to practice Judaism, which I do not. I am of Hebrew descent. Now, what's Hebrew? That's the bloodline. What's the difference between a Jew, a Hebrew, and an Israeli? Caitlin Kiefer type, what about making money from YouTube? You have enough subscribers to get monetized, I think. I totally agree with assisted suicide. I need help with that. You notice that none of my videos are edited. Not a single one. I don't know how to do any of that. I get overwhelmed just trying to learn it. If someone was to sit with me in person and teach me how to do these things, I would be able to do them. But no, I have to deal with people who are, well, all over the world telling me what to do, how to think, and how to feel. And they all keep telling me to do the same things that I've been saying, I need help. In person, in person. Meanwhile, this small town in Chapel, Nebraska, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares enough to help. Nobody even cares enough to look at fucking evidence. The only people in this town who care are the ones who fucking hate me. And they do everything they can to make my life hell. And you pretend that I'm schizophrenic for saying it. Meanwhile, let me show you some schizophrenia here. Restricted. That's the number that the cops call you from. Those of us who have been harassed by restricted numbers and more 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 restricted numbers. Oh, and they just keep on going. More restricted, more restricted, more. Fuck it. Why are these people calling me? They're calling me to harass me for speaking out. People don't like it when you tell the truth about them. Natalie Bollinger didn't like the fact that I told on her for being on heroin. She claimed that it was slander. What did her medical report have to say? No, Caitlin Kiefer, it's not the cops. In this case, this is people harassing me because they don't like the fact that I still speak up and I still try to get the help that I need. I believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Caitlin Kiefer typed that's fucked up, and it's one of those messages that's held for review. You're allowed to curse here. If you want to say it's fucked up, I'll allow the comment. When you are going out of your way to be a troll, no matter what, you're going to make excuses for the predators, and you weren't there for any of it. Yeah, I'll block your ass from my channel. I got no problem with that. Those of you who have been homeless know what snipes are. My friend Mandy, she typed, I've been snipe hunting a lot, and I'm pretty good at it. Rarely come back empty handed. I agree that they're fucked up for harassing me, but the cops don't give a shit. See, that's the problem with before Natalie was killed. For an entire year, I was threatened, harassed, and fucking assaulted by her junkie friends. And you say, oh no, Natalie could never do that. She's all sweet and innocent and pretty looking. Pretty people don't do bad things. Only ugly people do bad things. I agree, Caitlin, they are fucked up for harassing me. But you know what's even more fucked up than them harassing me? The fact that not one fucking person, not one, did a goddamn thing to stop it. There are lots of things people could have done to avoid this fucking situation. Like, for starters, fucking listen to me when it makes a fucking difference. Write a fucking statement like you said you would. I took to Facebook and YouTube because the cops do what they do, which is ignore me. I go to Facebook and YouTube because why? I'm hoping one of you guys will give enough of a shit to do something. I'm hoping one of you guys will fucking help me out with the shit that I don't know how to fucking do. And it's not from lack of fucking trying. There is a reason that assisted suicide should be legal. A lot of people keep saying ignorant shit like, well, they caught her, kill her, people should leave you alone. No, they're not gonna fucking leave me alone. Look at the way I was painted. I wasn't just painted as a killer. I was painted as a stalker and a child molester and a fucking rapist. I wasn't painted as a harasser. Why do I say that? Because I fucking did harass her. I harassed her to fucking knock this shit off. Well, Caitlin, you could start off by, well, speaking up for me, saying, hey, this is messed up. He should be allowed to speak up. He should be allowed to show evidence. And just because he doesn't have the technological ability or the place to do it doesn't mean that he shouldn't be allowed. I mean, where I am right now, I can't stay here. I'm not going to be able to stay here for a week and sit down and work on the shit that I need to. You guys What's a 40-hour work week, right? But I got to go through 70 hours worth of videos. That's just on the Josh and Amy situation, and only in the last 3 fucking weeks. Then we got to go look at stuff that I recorded before then, video evidence. There is so much of it. I need a safe place. It's not safe if I'm surrounded by alcoholics. It's not safe if people are selling meth. I am an at-risk fucking adult because of labels. Labels. Caitlin, you could help by getting on Rob Gavigan's channel and letting those people know that I have my own channel. You could help me out by protesting Rob Gavigan and saying, hey, what you did to Sean is messed up. Maybe you should do something to help the guy instead of trying to make money off of his hell. Of course, we live in a capitalist society. You pick on whoever it's easiest to pick on, whoever's least likely to be able to afford a lawyer. All these people saying, hey, Sean, you should sue them, you should sue them, you should sue them. You know, that would be fucking great, but you don't get to sue anybody when you're busy running around like a chicken with his fucking head cut off, trying to appease your fucking predators. Like the Boulder Police Department and the Dual County Sheriff's Department, the Rawlins Police Department. When Rihanna was victimizing Amy's kids, she got away with it. I asked her, I said, between telling the truth and me blowing my goddamn head off, which would you prefer? She said she'd rather tell the truth, but now she's dead as a fucking doornail. Rory was going to come forward too, but he's fucking dead as well. I don't count Rihanna or Rory's deaths as one of the 22 people that are dead because the police didn't listen to me. Rory didn't die because the police didn't listen to me. Rihanna didn't die just because the police wouldn't listen to me. But a lot of other people did, like Elijah McClain, Demetrius Shankling, Tiber Hatay. Caitlin Kiefer typed, oh yeah, I grew up with alcoholics. How'd they died? Well, Rory died of heart complications, probably from all the cats that were in his house. That ammonia really starts to eat your brain, and it also starts to affect your heart. Cat shit makes it even worse. Janine died of heart complications. Anna Hunka died of a seizure. Rand Ingersoll died of a seizure. Fuck the goddamn cops. Fuck this goddamn country. Elijah McClain was killed by lethal injection. Tiber Hatay was killed by lethal injection. Demetrius Shankling was killed by police protocol. Oh wait, no, it's not police protocol to make fun of somebody, is it? The officers, when they were pretending that I was suicidal because I was trying to turn them in, and they did this repeatedly, they were busy laughing and making jokes. If they really thought that I was suicidal, then why were they laughing and making jokes? Caitlin Kiefer typed, dang, I'm sorry. Well, so am I, Caitlin. It's 3:20 in the morning. I don't have any friends willing to help. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy who's letting me plug in my electronics here, that is help. It certainly is. He's allowing me, for the night at least, to stay on his floor, and that is help. It certainly is. But he's not going to look at evidence. He's not going to speak up in court. Of course, some of the things that I needed from other victims of Jamie Curtis, he came into my trailer one night out there, and I ended up getting to record it all anyway. That's the problem with allowing an issue to go on for this long. These officers did everything that they could to prevent me from showing evidence in court, no matter what. And they were able to abuse the term mentally ill to get away with it, all across the board. And people like Brandon Ratner, who should have come forward to begin with, yeah, he'll vouch that I'm not fucking schizophrenic, and he's got plenty of experience with schizophrenic people. He can also vouch that the stories that involved him, I did tell the truth. A lot of these people ended up helping my predators, or even though I'm going through hell, they're like, oh, well, I haven't had enough social time this week. I'm going to go get some more social time. Like when Kayla Trujillo, she's like, all right, Sean, I can come up and visit you, or I can try to get the information from Mobley that I need. Meanwhile, Mobley's already blocked me by this point. He's being a bitch. I said, well, in order to win the case, I should probably get Mobley to speak the fuck up, to go talk to Mobley. So she gets a hold of me the next day. I'm like, so what did Mobley say? Oh, well, we hadn't seen each other for a while, so we visited. Fuck Mobley. By the way, his real name is Stephen McMillian. Still, bar none, Candace Bondurant, aka Candace Dale, is the worst friend I've ever had. The things that she did in January of 2018 and February of 2018. It's not the first time she pulled bullshit like that. There's a reason that I got rid of Candace Bondurant while I was in Virginia in 2016. There's a reason that I did not contact her or make any attempt to contact her after that. Same thing with Jerry Sparks. Same thing with Amanda Engeline and Lana Engeline. No, you don't get to fucking stab me in the back and treat me like shit and gang up on me over fucking a racist goddamn post. No, if you're gonna be fucking racist, yes, I'm gonna fucking speak out. Somebody fucking needs to. You know what I noticed about bullying? The difference between that kid who's being bullied every single fucking day, and that kid actually having a decent chance of enjoying some part of his fucking life, is whether or not somebody like me is willing to speak up. because most of y'all are bitches. I don't mean that. Yeah, actually, I do that. Mean that offensively. I really do mean that offensively. All this shit the black folks are complaining the cops do to them, they do it more to the homeless than anyone else. They do it more to the disabled than anyone else. These are your top two groups of people you are allowed to fucking victimize. These are the two groups that no matter what aren't going to get an honest day in court unless someone cares. And obviously nobody does. Y'all can care from a distance, but you need to speak out from a distance. If that's as far out as you are, then yeah, I need you to share my story. Go back through my videos and look at the evidence. Those of you who are on my Facebook, which is probably not many, go through and look at that evidence. At least the stuff that wasn't destroyed by trolls. I need fucking help. In order for me to do that electronic shit, I need a place where I can sit down and work on that electronic shit and not worry that somebody's going to be pissed off that I'm, well, busy on the phone while they're wanting to watch their show. Or not wanting me to talk about my case because it's daytime. Or because they don't want their kids to hear about things like rape. Well, I don't want to say that shit in front of your kids either. With Miss Peaches, waiting on her to have time after her kids go to bed. Holy fuck, man. But then when her kids go to bed, she just wants to play video games. So then I sit there, there's only two controllers, and her boyfriend sit there playing video games until they pass out. All 4 times that I went to Miss Peaches for help, I was there for at least 2 days. Waiting on her to make the time to keep her fucking word instead of treating me like fucking shit. You see how that worked out? She helped out my fucking predators. And still, Candace Bondurant is a worse fucking friend. Why? Because January and February of 2018, those were my only chances to get an honest fucking day in court. Those were my only chances to be able to have the money to get a lawyer. And she went out of her way to destroy that because I threatened to tell on the officer who she was making these claims about, Officer Michael Beard. Fuck this goddamn country.